evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. How are you? How are you? How are you? Let's try to make it live. Let's try to make it go live. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's try to get Tuesdays with Terrence. Let's make it public. Let's make it public. Let's make it public. Let's make it public. And it is public now. So good evening. How are you beautiful people doing? Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with. My name is Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me X, and some people call me Mr. Bardui. If you're from the Commonwealth of Dominica, you call me little boy. That's little boy going all the way back to the 767. YT Kubuli, the Commonwealth of Dominica. Dominica made me, Boston raised me, now the South sustains me. Let's see who's tuned in so far. I want to say welcome to Miss Robin. Robin, can you hear me very good? Can you hear me loud and clear? Let's make sure you can hear me loud and clear. Can you? Give me a yes in the chat if you can. So welcome to Tuesdays. We hope you're doing well. Hope everyone's doing well. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm doing fantastic, man. You know, it's been a great week. Oh my God. What's been going on in the world? OMG. But anyways, it is what it is. Hope everyone's doing well. Just before we start, let's see who's coming in. Let's see who's coming in. Yes, you can hear me loud and clear. That is awesome, awesome, awesome. I want to say welcome to Robin Martin in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. I hope you're having a great day. It's a little stormy around here in this part. It's storming a little bit, and I'm trying to make sure that I stay protected. So I'm excited about tonight. We have a great show tonight, Christmas in July. Let's say, let's play our theme song as we start our show. We always like to do that first. I want to say welcome to those who are tuning in. Let's get it queued up for you, nice and loud. You don't have to be a star to be on my show. You don't have to have a million, but you're a superstar tonight. Let's go. Come, family.
Family, come as you are, with just your heart, and I'll help you win. Are you rejected or hurt? To me, your worth much more than you put in. Now I don't need no superstar, 'cause I'll accept you as you won't be denied, 'cause I'm satisfied with the help I can provide. You don't have to be rich family to be on my show. You don't have to have a million family to be on my show.
Boom, that's right. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to have a million to be on my show. And basically, that's how it works. How are you beautiful people doing? Hope you're doing well tonight. My name is Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H, some people call me Havis, some people call me Terrence, some people call me Mr. Bardui, some people call me little boy. That's for little boy, going all the way back to the 767. YT Kubuli, the Commonwealth of Dominica. Dominica made me, Boston raised me, now the South sustains me. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're really doing well. Fantastic. I usually, excuse me, I usually play some music, but I'm not going to play some music today. I'm going to get right into the show. I'm drinking my tea, American Classic Agency, see? ACA, American Classic Agency, the company that cares. Who can guess what I'm drinking? Am I drinking cacao tea, ginger tea, water? What am I drinking? Are you guys smart enough to figure it out? I hope you're doing well. Welcome to Terrence, wherever you are tonight. I hope that your summer's going well. Others will tune in periodically as they tune in. You know, we start the show, we do what we do. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. I just want to say thank you to Robin, who's a faithful supporter of Tuesdays with Terrence. You know, since we've been Facebook friends, she's always watched it. She's actually giving me referrals as well. I've spoken to the referral, and we'll get back. So for all of you who watch the show, I want to thank you, man. There's other things you could be doing on a Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But sometimes what happens is that, you tune in. And I'm very grateful to those of you who tune into my show. I mean, there's other things you could be doing. There's other things that could be more fun. Netflixing and chilling. You could have been with your husband, your wife, your boo, your friends. You could be at the game, at the bar. You could be watching CNN. There's a whole bunch of things you could be doing, but you tune into Choose Parents. And just before we start, I got to get on the political tip a little bit. For those of you who don't know about me, I've said it many times. I lean more on the conservative side. All right, I'm not a liberal, very independent thinker, and I just don't think everything is either left or right. Conservative in my thoughts, but I am not a person who's a fool. I know last week I watched the Republican National Convention all the way in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And, they were doing their thing. They were doing what they were doing. And it was what it was. And, it was a lot of kumbaya and unity and everything. And I just want to make this we're not going to spend too much time on politics, but I think it's important. We cannot ignore the signs of the times and what's going on. I don't care what your political affiliation is. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're independent. I don't care if you're a libertarian, if you're a Green Party. I don't care what you are. If you can vote, vote. All right. But what you got to know what's going on. They're talking about the 2025 project. Do you know what that is? They're talking about a lot of different things, and especially for people who are immigrants, right, to the United States. I'm an immigrant. I've been here 46 years. In 4 years, it'll be 50 years that I'm here in this country. And, I'm very grateful to America. You'll never hear me talk bad about America. You'll hear me talk about the policies. But, I was telling Sandy and our pastor, we were in a meeting, and I was telling some other people as well. I believe Joe Biden is going to flip the script at the end of the month. That's what I said. I called it, and we debate. It was terrible. But what I think about is what I don't like hypocrisy. I'll tell you what I mean by that. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And also, like Robin is watching tonight, I'm going to pick on Robin because that's my friend. I can't tell Robin what to do in her home, just like she can't tell me what to do in mine. And sometimes what happens is that we get a little carried away with trying to tell people what to do, whether it's their religious beliefs, their political beliefs, there's a whole bunch of things, we try to do people. And this is one thing I always talk about. Someone said this to me one time. Someone said Jesus was a liberal, and basically what they were trying to say is that he cared for everybody, not just one or two or certain types of people. And by the way, Jesus was a Jew, wasn't he? But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is simply this, folks. I don't care what you do. Do your research, understand what's at stake, and make a decision. As you all know, the president, pulled out from the race, and the vice president, Mrs. Kamala Harris, is now the nominee. I think she secured all the electoral votes or whatever the delegates do, and it's gonna be exciting. 130 days, 101 days, how many days it is till November? It's gonna be really exciting, folks. I watched a hearing last night from yesterday on C-SPAN about Director Cheadle of the Secret Service. And she was, they were asking all these questions. She couldn't answer any of the questions. And it's funny, the Republicans and the Democrats, they never get together for anything, but they got together for this, and they asked her to resign, and she did. But the funny thing about it is, you got a donkey and you got an elephant, right? The elephants wanted her to resign, or for them to fire her. Well, she resigned, and they're mad that she resigned and Biden didn't fire her. I'm like, you people are annoying. But this is what I can tell you. Regardless if you're a Republican or a Democrat or Libertarian or an Independent or a Green Party, you need life insurance because all of them got it. They're using this concept as a way of creating generational wealth. And our topic tonight is Christmas in July. We are literally 6 months from Christmas, right? In 2 days, it'll be 6 months, right? Today's the 23rd, I think, or 22nd, whatever day it is. From Christmas. And a lot of people don't want to think about the cold and the weather. But you see, there's some people I know back in Boston, back in the day, people used to go the day after Christmas and they would buy a lot of wrappings. Do people still wrap gifts? I don't know. You remember back in the day at Macy's or in Boston where I grew up, you had Filings and John Marsh where they'd have a gift wrapping center, you'd gift wraps and stuff like that. People will do all of that. So people plan for that. Good evening, Miss Elizabeth Bardui, my cousin. People do that. Do you still gift wrap? Do you plan for that? So the important thing about planning, right, whether it's for Christmas or for a birthday or anniversary or a Mother's Day or Father's Day, some people plan ahead. Some people plan 6 months in advance. Some people do a year in advance. Some people just impulsively do it. But one of the things that's really important about Christmas in July, make sure that you are planning for your future. I was watching a documentary on Fox last night. Fox Business Dish. Like, Fox, you watch Fox? Of course I watch it. Of course I watch it. I'm getting something from a client. Let me say, okay, cool. Client wants to have an appointment next week. All right, cool. And I was watching about the Rockefellers, right? J.D. Rockefeller built a wealth from Standard Oil, and then they create complicated trusts, and he tried to get his sons to run his businesses, and they didn't really want to. And Rockefellers became philanthropists, right? So if you ever been to New York City, they got Rockefeller Center. And good evening, Cavell Scott. Good to see you. See you tonight. And people make a big deal about that. You've been to New York, you've been to Rockefeller Center, and they do a lot of good over the years. But what they've also done was they thought about the next generation to come. Some people don't do that. Some people can't do that. Man, it's hard. Sometimes we have up days and we have down days. Sometimes we have good days. Sometimes we have bad days. Sometimes we have all kind of days, right? But one other thing about it is, regardless of what kind of day you're having, you got to plan. I want to say good evening to Miss Esther Duran Kazemi. Bonsoir, bonsoir. Hope you're doing well. So it's really important, folks, that you do planning. Even the political parties are doing planning. The elephant planning for Biden Harris. Now they got to throw all their crap and start over, plan for Harris or whoever, and the donkey was planning for Trump and somebody, and now it's Trump and JD Vance. But it doesn't matter whether it's politics, whether it's church, whether it's work, home, school, play. You have to plan for the future. You have to. And lots of people don't, can't, and refuse to. I don't know why. But a lot of people do. And one of the things that used to is because, why? Why? You know why? Because they don't budget. Some people don't know how to. Some people may know how to, but they're not disciplined. I've told you guys many times. I spoke to a client who told me they have a budget and it's in their head, and I told them that's not a budget. That's a thought. A budget. A budget is, I guess everything is okay. A budget is, okay. I'm getting some information here from my assistant that I got to do something here for them. I'm trying to do it for them real quick. But a budget is something that everybody got to do. Everybody got to do it. And if you're not doing it, if you're not planning and you're not planning for your future or your children or your legacy, I don't care whatever your legacy is going to be, right? I don't care what your legacy is going to be. Whatever your legacy is going to be, you got to plan for it. Whatever the legacy is, you got to plan. Do you want to buy a car or a home? You have to plan for it. Do you want your children to have a better life than you do? You got to plan for it. A lot of the concepts that I've learned when I became an adult, I wish I knew when I was younger. I can tell you my father passed 4 years ago, my mother 11 years ago, I think it was. And let me make you the host. And basically, what has happened here is that if I knew what I knew then, from the time I was 18, and I started working at 17 at a part-time job, I would have done a lot of planning. And I would have started planning for a family, financially. I became a banker, and I was still being frivolous. I would have planned. I would have invested into my inheritance. I would have invested into my inheritance. And some people can't do that. They can invest into their inheritance. And you're like, what do you mean? I'll give you an example. I got 3 kids right now, right? And let's say I get a call from one of my kids today. And they say, Pops, I want to get $1 million policy on you, or $500,000 policy, or $250,000 policy. I'll say, when do we sign? You know why? Because I've told them what they need to do. My parents didn't tell me that. My parents didn't know. My parents, I don't even think my parents had a 6th grade education. But they were very wise people. They did the best that they knew how. They knew the best that they knew how. And basically, because they did the best that they knew how, I was a saver. And so are you saving for Christmas right now? What do you get your boyfriend or your girlfriend, your husband, your grandkids, your kids? For those of you who celebrate Christmas, are you planning for that? So you see, a lot of us, planning for us is 6 months down the road. Some of us, planning for us is Saturday night. The Rockefellers, they plan for generations to come. And some of you who are watching tonight, very liberal Christians who talk about Jesus is coming soon. By the way, it's true. But guess what? I'll be 60 years old today. I've been hearing that since I could talk, since I was 2-3 years old, and he hasn't come. So basically, people who don't plan, it doesn't mean that he's not coming. You got to live your life like he's coming tonight, and you got to plan like he's coming in 100 years. It's the same thing for your life financially. You have to plan. If something happens to you today, what do I face? I hope to live a long life, healthy life. But if the good Lord decides, it's time for me to, kick the bucket, I've done some planning. Why is it so hard for some of us to do that? Let me button my shirt here. I don't want you guys to see my beautiful chest here. Why is it so hard for us to do that? It doesn't matter if you're single, married, shacking up, dating, got a boo, don't have a boo, have a this, have a that. It doesn't matter. You have to plan for a rainy day. A little while ago, it was raining so hard here. It was storming here. When it starts raining, if you don't have an umbrella, you're going to get wet, right? Or if you don't have a place of abode, you're going to get wet, right? It's the same thing with financial services. You have to plan. Just like you're planning for Christmas, you got to plan for your future. I'm going to pick on someone right now who's watching. Her name is Miss Cavell Scott. She's watching right now. And she's my client. And last week she told you all, it doesn't matter if you are single, get living benefits. She said that. She typed it in. And she was right. She was right. You know, I was talking about annuities and 401ks. Last night, I was talking with a client. We were trying to see if we could do a rollover for a client. The company won't allow it as long as they're employed there. But it doesn't matter, man. Today, wow. You know, hold on a second. I want to mute myself for a second. I don't want you guys to hear this. Yeah, you know, sinuses. But the director Cheadle of the Secret Service, she resigned today. So I know she got a TSP, a thrift savings plan with the federal government. I wish I knew her. I can say, hey, girl, sorry to hear you have to resign, but you know, they need accountability for what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. But what are you doing with your thrift savings plan? Let me show you how you can protect it. You know, Venus, the ABR Queen Stevens is watching tonight. Earlier, I think it was in June on my show. I think it was June. Her husband came in. He just popped in. They had life insurance, but they got more. And guess what? A couple months after they got more, they found out her husband had cancer. Very serious. He was on there. She told a story. But guess what? She had already put planning in place. So I keep telling you guys, life insurance is not because you're going to die. Life insurance is because your loved one's going to live. Your loved one's going to live. You know, for those of you who play the lottery, if you play the lottery and you win big money, I can show you how for generations to come, you all could never be broke. If you do what the Rockefellers do or did. If you say, Google the Rockefellers on YouTube. You know, like I said, Fox Business had a documentary about the Rockefellers last night and Henry Ford as well, the Model T guy, and I watched it. Those guys, they put everything into what they were doing, but they're always thinking about the future. Let me ask you a question. Very serious question, folks. If you don't believe in the future, now I'm talking to a certain demographic tonight. I'm not talking to Scott. There's a reason why I said that. If you don't believe in the future, why did you have kids? If you don't believe in the future, why do your kids have kids? Why are you a grandma or a grandma, whatever you'll call it, or a nanny or nana or mima? Why do you have granddaughters or grandsons, but you don't believe in the future? You don't believe in planning. Why? Why did you have kids? And I don't want to hear, well, mine was an accident. No, it wasn't an accident. You know what he's just doing. You can get, if you're a and you're at childbearing age, you can get pregnant. And don't say, oh, well, I didn't plan because he was a this or he was a that. No. You picked him. You weren't raped. You plan to have kids. So if you plan to have kids, what is your plan so that if you struggled in life, why would you want your family to struggle? Why? Tell me why. Why would you want your generations to struggle? Christmas in July means you're planning for your, some of you are planning your Christmas trips, where you're going for Christmas. Some of you are planning your vacations. The average American spend more time planning a vacation than they do planning for their financial future. I'll say it again. The average American spend more time planning a vacation than they do their financial future. I personally, and I would never call anybody's name, know people who want to travel and who's traveling. They can't even afford to, but they're doing it. So don't tell me you can't afford to plan for your future or to create generational wealth. You see, for some families, generational wealth is 100 grand or 200 grand. So you could parlay that 100 grand or 200 grand into something great for the next generation and the next generation, and learn to leverage it, scale it. Let it make, so when there's babies, is your money making money babies? Today, I was going through some of my clients' accounts and to see how they've been doing over the years. Now, people who've been with me like for, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, and see how their stuff is building. I was looking at one client who's been with me about a year now, and I'm looking how it's building. And I'm like, I wish I met that person 25 years ago, because that person's in there like 55, 56. But 25 years ago, I wasn't even doing this. I was just a banker. Telling you, man, get a CD, get a checking account, get a mortgage, get a this, get a that, get an IRA. Christmas in July is a funny thing that we say when you get something really nice. What do you want, Christmas in July? Well, you can have Christmas in July. I have a colleague that I'm going to have on in September for Life Insurance Awareness Month, who had a girlfriend who created something, and then less than 6 months she passed. She had a child, and for years she said she was going to do it, and when she finally did it, something happened. She had a car accident. Folks, you don't get insurance because you're going to die. You get insurance because your loved ones are dead. Good evening, Ann Wink, all the way in Jersey. Good to see you that you're recovering slowly. Glad to hear from you today. Praying for you. It doesn't matter if you're single, if you're married. What do you want your legacy to be? Why is legacy such a bad thing? Huh? Why? Why is legacy planning such a bad thing for some of you? Why is legacy planning a bad thing for people, who don't want to plan? Why? Why? Folks, I don't come on Tuesdays with Terrence to tell you what you got to do. I don't come on Tuesdays with Terrence to tell you what you have to do. I don't come on Tuesdays with Terrence to insult you, ridicule you, admonish you. I just come to educate you. And some of you watch every week. Bravo. And I'm grateful. Some of you support me because you're family. Some of you support me because we're friends. Some of you support me because you want to learn something to take to your person. I know that someone did that. Many people do that. And that's okay. If you're doing that, that means I'm doing a good job. It also means that you're not going to ask me to contribute to something, which I hate getting. Because if you're having something and I want to contribute, I'll contribute, but I don't want you to ask me. You like the politicians asking you all for money, I was having a conversation with Sandy, who's tickled pink because her girl Kamala Harris. I've said it many times on this show. Sandy's a Democrat of all Democrats, and she makes no apologies for it. She don't care. You can't convince her. She'll tell you. You could say what you want. When the people come knock on the door, she always usually say, "You ain't got to come and knock on the door. I'm voting Democrat across the board." And she says it with vigor. So there are some people giving money, but are you voting? Your money will get the message out, but are you voting? It's the same thing with what we do in my business. You can listen to me every week and every day. Good to see you, Beth Amato. Good evening. Are you guys still on vacation? I'm jealous. I was watching your stuff, your Get Out of Debt last night. Looks good. It's coming along nicely. I think Beth, the first or second client who trusts me to do Beth Amato and her husband, Moises, to help them create a Get Out of Debt program. The family has multiple things with me. I call her sister since we used to work together. Sun Life of Canada, Boston. But the point is this. The important thing is, Betsy, I can't wait. I don't blame you. You should can't wait. It's growing nicely. One of these days we need to have a meeting so you guys can see how it's growing too. Because that other stuff you had, remember? All those years, could you imagine if you had that for 20 years? What you have right now, can you imagine if you had it for 20 years? At what you were doing? At what you're doing now? I'll be calling you Queen Beth. But my point, folks, is this. Christmas in July has to do with planning for Christmas. Why do you plan for Christmas? Why do you plan for vacations? Why do you plan for back to school? Why do you plan for all these things that doesn't pay you back? Don't get me wrong. Vacations are good. You work hard. I want to see your pictures on vacation so I can say, I'm jealous, and say, oh, you look good in your bikini or your bathing suit or your trunks, your swimming trunks, or your family looks good. Oh, all of you guys who are my Facebook friends, you put stuff on your vacation. I compliment you. I compliment you. I compliment you guys. But the important thing is this. Let me move this away, guys. I'm on a Zoom here. Let me move this away so it doesn't affect it. I'm going to leave the Zoom. Let's see. Hold on. I'm going to leave this Zoom here, guys. Let me leave it so they can do I'm going to leave a meeting so they can do their stuff. All right, cool. What I was saying there is I advocate. There's a Facebook friend of mine. He was just in Mexico, and he travels a lot. Dominican Republic, Mexico, Aruba. Man, he goes all over the place. And I said to him, bravo. I know he works hard, but he plans. And for those of you who are doing that, I see what you're doing. And I actually applaud those who have put stuff in place when they go on vacation. I applaud them because they put the cart before the horse. I was talking to someone from New York who told me that someone was going to Dominica. That's where I'm from. The Commonwealth of Dominica. White Kubuli, tall as her body. Congratulations to Miss Nurse Annette Sanford. She's the Kalinago chief now. The indigenous people of Dominica, the Caribbean Indians, is a new chief. Her name is Annette Sanford, Nurse Annette Sanford. Congratulations on your appointment. And the person borrowed money to go home. And then when they got home, they were asking, they wanted people to take their man. And you need to plan for your vacation. The way you plan for a vacation is the same way you need to show more diligence in planning for your future. You can't borrow money to go on vacation when you come back in. Save for your vacation. Strategically put it in your budget. Remember, if it's not written down, it's not a budget. All of you who have a budget, keep, if it's not written down, it's not a budget. It's just an idea. It's an idea. And you need to change your mindset. Christmas in July. Good evening, Mr. Alvin Vasa. Good to see you. During the months of July, it's warm, it's hot, and all these things happening, right? But guess what? Guess what? Beach, go to Florida, go to Hawaii, go to Cabo Verde, go to Dominica, Jamaica, Curacao, Aruba, go wherever, but plan for it. But the same way with your financial planning, you need to plan for it well. You can't do a lot, do a little. Get some term, but get the term that you can convert to perm with the living benefits. Temporary term, permanent. I believe everybody can save $100 a month, at least. You can't put 100 a month aside, put 50 aside. Do what you can do. When you get a raise in your job, you increase what you do. That's how it works. It's not rocket science, folks. Don't try to, you ever see people who try to live like the Joneses or impress you with stuff they cannot afford? They buy stuff they cannot afford or go places they cannot afford to impress people they don't like with money they don't have. That's what that guy did to go to Dominica on vacation. Yo, like the Jamaicans say, we come from foreign, you come from a foreign country, right? Come on, man. I don't care. Sometimes your vacation might be going to, if you're in Virginia Beach, if you're in Florida, you go to Flagler Beach or Daytona Beach, or if you, wherever you go to Myrtle Beach, that's why if you're in Boston, go to Cape Cod. It doesn't matter. If you're in Dominica, you're in La Puente, you go to, I don't know, Myrtle Beach. You don't have to go to St. Lucia or go somewhere. Now, if you save for it and you plan for it, do that. For those of you who are doing this, I applaud you. If you notice, if something comes to eat, I'm going to like it. There's very few people I don't like this stuff. The sneaky ones. I watch. But if you're posting good, positive stuff or funny stuff, even political stuff, I like, I comment, sometimes I share. Sometimes some things I can't share because to protect my brand. But I do know that a lot of you work hard on your jobs. I'm seeing some people in here and I know they work hard. Some of you, I talk to you during the day when you're working hard. And I know that. But the important thing is this, for those of you who are saving and planning, I applaud you when you go on vacations. I applaud you, as you should. Those of you who are not saving and not planning, shame on you. Shame on you. Esther Durant Chasm is funny. She says, this year looked like a staycation for me. That's okay. You know what you can do? First of all, you live in the Caribbean, right? You go to the beach, have a picnic. Take pictures. Put filters on it, like y'all always do with your pictures, some of y'all. It's okay. That's wrong with a staycation. Sometimes you get to go away. Sometimes you don't get to go away. For some people who have the resources and they go away, bravo. But if you're not, or you can afford to, have a staycation. I remember the first time I traveled was when I was 13 years old. I was leaving Dominica. I had just turned 13. I was in first form in grammar school in Dominica, and we were going to Barbados to the immigration. I cried. I didn't want to go. I told my mother, leave me. She said, no, you got to go. It was my father was already in the U.S. for a year. My aunts were there since I think the 50s or whatever. And we're going to Barbados. We got to go to the immigration, have an interview, get our visas and green cards. And because we weren't coming back, we pack our stuff. We wasn't coming back to Dominica. We were in Barbados for like 2 weeks. We stayed with the Fords and the Brathwaites. First time I saw a KFC was in Barbados. First time I saw an escalator was in Barbados in 1978. I don't know if Dominica had escalators then. I don't remember that, because the tallest building in Dominica when I left was the ministry building. I don't remember if Astafans had escalator in 1978. I don't remember, but I don't think they did. I don't even know if they had elevators. I don't know. I don't remember that. But that's the first time I saw escalator. We got our green cards, our visas, and we were there for 2 weeks, and then we came to Boston via Puerto Rico. Boston, Massachusetts via Puerto Rico. And my parents, again, my dad was already up here. He was working at the Gillette company, razors, you know. My mom has always been a housewife. But they had to plan this when my father had to file for us. He had to save, because he had to send fare money. My mother didn't work. I was a minor. My 2 baby sisters were minors. 2 of my older sisters, I believe, were minors at the time as well. I think. I don't think Junie was 18 yet. I don't remember. If I was 13, if I was 15, that's right. My brother, Gregory Oliver, he was not a minor. And my sister Betsy didn't come up for a year later. And the other siblings are already married, so they, you know, they were in a situation. But my father had to plan. He had to save money to send for our fares. And I guess, I don't know if he was, I don't even know back then, did they have Western Union? They probably did. How were we living for the year that my father was gone? How were we living? I don't know. I mean, was there a bank account back home? Was he sending money back home? But all I know is he was a planner and a saver. Esther says no, there was no escalator at Astafans back then in 78. So folks, you can create generational wealth for your family, and you can do it in July. It's July now, Christmas in July. Give your family Christmas in July by creating generational wealth. You can do it. You can do it. If you're doing it, bravo, I salute you. If you're not doing it, it's not too late. It doesn't matter where you start. And those of you who are my clients, I'm very proud of you. Some of you watch this show and you're not my clients, and you're doing it. I know that for a fact. I applaud you as well. And I thank you for the support for watching. But you got to tell this to your kids. I've told this to my kids. If they don't do it, you know, that's on them. My father didn't know about this stuff to educate me that way, or my mother. They were good parents to me. I always had a place to eat, food to eat, roof over my head, clothes, shoes, whatever I needed, I always had. Thought I was rich. Thought I was an adult. I'm like, how did they do it? I don't know how much money my father made a year, but I don't think my father ever made, with all his kids, I don't think US, I don't think he made 40 grand a year. I don't know what he made. I don't know. I don't think he did. I know he didn't make that in Dominica. But for those of you who remember, in Dominica, people used to buy stuff on credit. Remember? Fortnights. Every fortnight, you go to the store and you buy some, I don't know, lamoe, smoke herring, saltfish, how so, oil, flour. You buy it on credit. And you go like me, you say, and she said, too sweetie, too. My mother never did a sweetie. Kids are. But the point was, and they paid their bills. Those people were disciplined, man. Our parents did the best that they can. A lot of us are more educated than our parents. Some of us have advanced degrees and so forth and making six figures, and we don't even have the discipline our parents had because we're trying to keep up with the Joneses, to impress people we don't like, with money we don't have, with things we can't afford. When we came to America, all the shoes my father had from back home, he brought it up. All these old records, Jim, Skeeter Davis, Charlie Pride, George Jones, all those records, he brought it up. The Louvin brothers. Ay, ay, ay. He brought all those things up. Cherished it. It's the same thing you have to do with legacy. You have to cherish your legacy. It has to be important to you. Right now, everybody's making a big deal about Kamala Harris, right? And Donald Trump. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are going to be good. Even if they didn't have the money that they have a guaranteed pension from the United States for the rest of their life. I'm not worried about those people. I'm worried about their policies, how it will affect the working class man and woman. But I'm not thinking about their bag. I'm thinking about you all's bag. Create your bag. Make sure you have something in place that you can fall back on. Because sometimes in my business, you got to save for a rainy day, because sometimes things are hard because business is slow, sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's kicking, it's not. But we're not talking about, because now we're talking about in the future. And when you leave your house every day, do you say a prayer? Some people say they don't believe in God, but when something happens, first thing they do say, oh my God. Well, why are you calling God? You believe in a higher power? When you leave your home every day, do you pray? When you drive your car? So that just in case, when you go to work, even though someone's dropping you, do you say a prayer? Just before the show, Sandy had a prayer with me. It was an awesome situation. And the prayer was for me. It wasn't for her, it was for me. I didn't ask her to do it. She just came in and she said, let's pray. She just pulled the chair up and pray for me. I need that prayer. But the thing about it is, we can pray all day about God help me, God help us, but God is not going to do for you what you can do for yourself. Right, Pastor Troy Holt? Good to see you, man. You got to plan for your future. And it doesn't matter even if you're struggling, make sure you have life insurance just in case. And don't think about the one on the job, because a lot of y'all are retiring and you're leaving the job and what the job is offering. Someone, who was it? Courtney Ruffin, my colleague in Tampa, Florida, made a post last week. He said he was talking with a client and doing a review, and the client was talking about they have insurance in their job. So they called the job, and the job told them, well, this insurance, you don't own it. Do you have a certificate? There are some companies, you guys hear me talk about BOLI, B-O-L-I, bank-owned life insurance. There is COLI, C-O-L-I, corporate-owned life insurance. The Walmarts, the Costco's, these big companies. And you don't own that. when you all be dying, them companies getting that money. You might get a little something, something, but you ain't getting the big money. I believe no family in America. In the Caribbean, it's a little different, and you can do stuff in the Caribbean, okay? If you're in St. Martin, talk to Atlin Pittman. She can help you. If you're in Dominica, I have a friend who does insurance in Dominica. I don't know her, Facebook friend. You can do that with them. But if you're in America, and my show is for everybody, but mostly for people who live in America, there is no cotton picking reason that you don't own personal life insurance. Zero. You can give me all the excuses that you want to. I don't you. You BSing me and yourself. I want all my friends and family, Facebook friends, personal friends, family, to live long, long lives. But I know, if God forbid something happened to you guys, that your spouses or your children or your legacy is intact. That's why I do Tuesdays with Terrence. That's why you got to have Christmas in July. Christmas is coming, right? We all have a birth certificate, but we all going to have a death certificate. And life insurance is not because you're going to die. It's because your loved ones and your legacy is going to live. The Rockefellers understood it. You know, we do so much research, right, on pocketbooks, cars. Well, I want a Rolls Royce or a Porsche, clothing, sneakers, phones. We do all the research. Well, so why don't you start researching wealthy families in America? That's your homework. Google them, read about them, what they did. Learn about infinite banking concepts. Do that, folks. And when you do it and you learn it, incorporate it into your life. I went to a young man yesterday and I was telling him, how old are you? He says he's 35. I said, you're the same age as my oldest son. Married? He said, yes. He has a 1-year-old. He's in a blended family, and an 8-year-old that his wife has. So they have 2 kids, blended family. He's ex-military, travel agent. He does Uber. I don't know if he has a regular job as well. But the point is, he said he was 30 years old learning about IRAs and financial concepts. So now I said to him, listen, bro, you have a 1-year-old. I can show you how to make that 1-year-old a guaranteed millionaire when they're my age. Guaranteed. I gave him my card. I told him to text me. I don't know if he's texted me, and I don't see it. I don't know if he texts my office line or I don't see it in my personal phone. He told me his name. I don't even remember his name. But the important thing is, if that was me and someone gave me a tip that's going to change my child's life, I'm texting you the same day. Yeah, this is Havis Terrence Bardui. You see the difference between people like that. I'm not saying the guy will not contact me. I'm saying when I was growing up, the stuff that I was learning, if I had a me, a lot of you would not know me. Listen to what I said. So consider yourself privileged. When I was growing up, if I had a me, if there was a Tuesdays with Terrence, a guy like me that I knew personally, whether it was live or in person, there's some people who talk to me about some other stuff in the past, but I'm talking about someone who's dedicated as I am, fully understanding the concepts of scaling your lifestyle into generational wealth with legacy creation. A lot of you would not be my Facebook friend. Well, you may follow me on social media, but you wouldn't be my friend because I'd be a baller shot caller. But what I did now was I made sure I put something in place when I learned. And my prayer is that each and every one of you will do the same thing. Listen, folks, wealth is relative. First of all, you need your health. When I do my walks, I say health is wealth. I've been walking lately, but I haven't been doing the lives. I need to go back and start doing it just to encourage some individuals. A lot of things happen. You can get sick, you can get COVID, like the president of the US. You can have something, and God forbid something happened to you. You want to, if you have a 1-year-old child or a 1-year-old grandchild, insure them today, man. You get to control that stuff for 18 years or even longer while they're in school. And when they become responsible, you can pass it over to them. You will be the owner and you'll be the beneficiary, but they'll be the insured. And you transfer that wealth to them when they're responsible enough. You see, the Rockefellers, what they did was they created complicated trusts, right? Every time a Rockefeller is born, I think I read somewhere, no, on that documentary that I saw last night, I think the lady said it's about 249 Rockefellers, something like that, she said. And the Rockefellers, they're worth about $9 billion. The Rockefeller Foundation, I think, or the trust or whatever it is, about $9 billion. And they do a lot of philanthropy, you know. And the funny thing, what they do is every time a Rockefeller is born, they get a big life insurance policy. The trust is the owner, the child is the insured, and the beneficiary is the trust. And when they need money, you see, that family can never go broke, but you can do it. You may not be worth $9 billion, but start with $1 million or $500,000. And then you keep doing it and doing it and doing it. You know what? One of my, and we got 4 minutes and I got to close, right? One of my biggest fears, biggest fears. I've been doing this show now for 4 years, March, April, May, June, July, and 5 months, almost 4.5 years. I started on February 4th, 2020, talking about the same thing. I remember I was doing it from my phone. My platform was jacked up. And now I have a pretty good following. Some people, you know, follow me for what they can get. Some people follow me because they want knowledge. Some people follow me to support me. Some people follow me because they like me. Some people follow me because they hate me. And in spite of all of that, it doesn't matter. In spite of all of that, one of my biggest fears is that all the people who've gotten all the knowledge I've given, and God forbid something happens, and you hitting people up for a bake sale, a fish fry, a GoFundMe, can you, like, you gotta, if your mother die or your father die or your kid and I send you a card, do I have to put $20 in it? If I die tonight, my family don't need a damn penny from any one of you. If someone chooses to give them something, that's on them. They don't need it because there'll be enough to take care of my final expenses and for them to do what they need to do. And if they don't do it, that's on them. But I know I put it in place. So listen, folks. Health is wealth. Insure your children as 2 weeks after they're born and your grandchildren. Do like the Rockefellers. Okay, you don't know the Rockefellers? Do like Havis Terrence Bardui. Do like Troy Holt. Do like Alvin Vasa. Do like Beth Amato. Venus, the ABR queen. And all the rest of you, I'm talking about people I know for a fact who have it. All right? You could do like any one of them, but make sure you have Christmas in July. This lady called me today. She don't have to take some money till December. Her minimum required distribution, but she called me today. I said, let's table that till December 2nd. She's planning 6 months in advance. And this lady, I told her today, I tell her a story all the time. I have a client in Philly. Tomorrow, she can liquidate everything and she can have $2 million. She planned. She has annuities. She has life insurance. Her house is paid for. Her car is paid for. I call her, she's thrifty, but she said, no, she's cheap. She's a tightwad. She told me back in the day when she was working for 1 year, she didn't even have a TV, not because she couldn't afford it. I know how much money these ladies have. I've seen it. We were talking today, and I was gonna someone asked me about a guy. She's 73. I said, you need to. I said, you need to become a cougar. Get a young guy, because them old dudes are gonna die before you. She laughed, and she said, "Yeah, I need to do that, Terrence." My point, folks, is health is wealth. Christmas in July simply means plan for your future today. Just like you're planning for Christmas, plan financially. Get life insurance. If you own assets over 100, 200,000, get a trust. You own a home, a car, assets, put it all in the trust, and then have an executor to that trust and a successor executor, just in case. You can be the executor and your kids can be whoever is responsible. But remember, plan ahead. Christmas in July. My name is H. Terrence Bardui. The show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardui. And some people call me Little Boy. That's Luku Boy, going all the way back to the 767 La Pointe, Point Michel, the Commonwealth of Dominica. Whitey Kumuli, tall as her body. Dominica made me. Boston raised me. Now the South sustained. Christmas in July simply means plan for your future. Just like you're planning for Christmas now, your Christmas vacation, your Christmas trips, plan the same thing for your legacy, for your loved ones, because health is wealth. Delphine Leblanc, you know you should call me Luku Boy. You call me Mr. Bardui. I must have graduated all the way in Ottawa, Canada. Thank you for tuning in tonight. And for all of you who have put some stuff in place for your children or for you in case you get sick, I applaud you. Those of you who haven't done it yet, don't let too late be your cry. It's 9 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock. I'm sorry. I have a team meeting in 3 minutes on Zoom. You don't have to be a star to be on my show. You don't have to have 1 million to be on my show. Again, my name is H. Terrence Bardui. Dominated me. Boston raised me. Now the South sustains me. Good night, everybody. Good night. Miss Maynard Thomas, my baby sister, singing, telling you don't have to be a star to be on my show. You had no star tonight. You had a superstar. That's me. And you are as well. God bless you. Good night. Come, family.
Family, come as you are. Just your heart, and I'll help you win. Are you rejected or hurt? To me, you're worth much more than you put in. Now I don't need no superstar, 'cause I'll accept you as you are. You won't be denied, 'cause I'm satisfied with the help that I can provide. You need to be rich family to be on my show. You don't have to have 1 million family to be on my show.
Boom. Like Maynard said, you don't have to be a star. You want to get in touch with me? That's my card. You guys can see it, but my number is there, man. If you need my help, you know what to do. And for those of you who have term policies with me, let's talk about converting that into something. God bless you. I love you. Thank you for your support. Make it a good night. Oh, Bessie Davis was watching my big sister. I love you. Nigeria, and everybody else. You make it a good night. God bless you. You don't have to be a star to be on my show. You don't have to have 1 million to be on my show. Sometimes life hits you and it hits me. But remember whose you are. Plan for your legacy, for your family. Put something in place. Bye-bye. Hasta la vista, babies. I love you. Good night, everybody.